And please welcome on stage our second candidate, Nguyên from Trần Phú High School for the Gifted.
Thank you.
Và bây giờ xin mời Lưu Nguyên Vũ sẽ có một ít phút thời gian để cùng giới thiệu về bản thân của em. Xin mời Lưu Nguyên Vũ.
Hello everybody. My name is Lưu Nguyên Vũ and I'm from class English 12 of Trần Phú High School for the Gifted. In my free time, I enjoy doing arts and other extracurricular activities, such as playing the guitar or just taking the photography. And all these I took from my father. Actually, he's a well-respected man in the community, and I have learned a lot from him. And he has inspired me to become bigger and learn all the things that I have learned today. About all this other stuff, I'm here today to introduce you to my English capabilities and hopefully will influence and inform you about a certain subject matter. That's it for my introduction. I hope you will enjoy my presentation.
Xin cảm ơn Lưu Nguyên Vũ. Lưu Nguyên Vũ có vẻ là có một giọng nói rất là tự tin đúng không ạ? Và ngay bây giờ đây xin mời Lưu Nguyên Vũ hãy cùng chuẩn bị bốc thăm phần chủ đề của mình mà em sẽ thuyết trình trong chương trình ngày hôm nay. Xin mời. Ok, anh sẽ cầm mic giúp em. Em cứ từ từ hãy móc thôi. Bình tĩnh. Ok. Và chủ đề của chúng ta sắp được hé lộ rồi ạ. Hơi bị căng à? Là không sao. Đó sẽ là động lực cho Nguyên Vũ. Và chủ đề số mấy đấy ạ? Xin mời chị Diệu Hương.
So his question is number 6.
Chủ đề số 6. Good morning.
So would you like to read it?
Of course, here we go. So, environment is everything that's around us. If you are the only one in this universe with no surrounding, then imagine what will happen to you.
There are some interesting hypotheses that have come up in the recent years, and one of them would be the question of what would happen if we were to remove the environment and everything around us? We have to define what the environment is first, and as you can see, the environment consists of a lot of factors, but I wouldn't categorize them into 4 sections. The air, the earth, the water, and the flora and other animals as well. And all these are vital to our survival. And if we were to remove one of those things, very bad things would happen. I would like to talk about removing something as essential as the water or the air. Not good things, bad things would happen. If we were to remove the air, obviously we would all suffer from asphyxiation and will quickly come to our demise. And that's not a very good thing. The same can be said about the soil and the water. Without the water, we would be dehydrated, and without the soil, we would be homeless and will be subjected to the elements, and that would be pretty significant. But I would like to talk about some things that are not so common and people actually gloss over. And what if we were to take a step back and remove something we think of as insignificant? We could think of some certain kinds of animals. Let's remove a tiger, for example. If we were to remove a tiger, at a first glance, nothing much would happen. It's just a very minor predator. But if we look closely into it, there are major consequences, such as destabilizing the food chain and just causing an overpopulation of other animals. And in turn, this would affect the environment in a drastic way and change the balance of nature. Let's talk about something else. If we were to remove something else entirely that's not living, maybe the consequences would not be so bad. I would like to remove something called spices. You all know spices, right? we use them for our food and a lot of those things. So what if we were to remove something as simple as salt? Well, first of all of the chemists and the scientists around the world would be pretty upset. But second of all, well, if we were to remove spice, there are just going to be bad things. Well, you see, our world was built upon treaties and fortifying of nations, and one of those things. I'm sorry. I'm going to rephrase that a little bit. Our entire world is built upon international trade and the cooperation of nations. And how did that all came to be? Well, it happened a long time ago. But major empires such as the Spanish and the French, they expanded their empire and to other reaches of the world. And why exactly did they do that? They do that because there were resources that they were lacking, and one of those resources were vital, and that is salt. So you can see, salt constituted to the development of our very own society. So if we were to remove it, perhaps it would be a very bad thing, because some hypotheses have put up that if we were to remove something like that, our entire society would break down. But I think the likely scenario is that just trade and other stuff would stagnate a lot, and we would have to do a lot of things in order to adapt and overcome this challenge. And that is just a very small element. But if that we would like to that we want to remove. So what can we learn from this interesting hypothesis? Well, we can learn that the environment is certainly important to us, and we are industries nowadays. They are just slowly degrading our environment, and this is I repeat, this is a very bad thing. And we can see from the hypothesis that if we were to remove some very minor elements, the entire world would change. And to draw from this, we are slowly destroying the environment. So I think that must be put to a stop, because slowly and slowly, some of these elements that I have mentioned before will start to disappear. Like take global warming, for example. Global warming is removing the homes of thousands and thousands of animals, such as the ones in the North and Southern Pole. This in turn affect the food chain, as mentioned, and it will also cause the sea levels to rise. And we can see that our effect on the environment is very substantial. And I think that our lesson is just we should try to protect the environment more. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
That was a very impressive speech, well done.
Thank you.
Well, my question to you is, okay, so, why do you think people, oh, wrong one, sorry. If you could add or remove one thing from our current environment, what would it be and why?
From our current environment, you see, well, there are many certain things, and I'll try to think of something that is not as substantial, but maybe, just maybe, I think I'll remove the spices, because, well, people are going to struggle for a while, but over time we will overcome it, like the olden days, Any other questions?
What do you think is the most important part for a natural environment?
Well, I have mentioned it before in my speech, but the most important parts are, well, the air and the soil and the water and all those basic elements that everything and every single creature it really depends on to survive. And those are the very important parts. Some parts can be omitted, but if you will remove one of those things like the air, the water, and the soil from the environment, everything will just go.